How has the failures of yesterday made you successful today? Welcome back to In the Know. I am Tisha Pitts.
I am Tony Pitts.
And we are here with another amazing question. The title here is How I Failed My Way to $1 Million.
Oh, shoot.
It's very interesting. The question is, Tony, how has the failures of yesterday made you successful today?
The failures of yesterday, how they made me successful today? Failures are important. Failures are your best learning tool, right? You use failures as the treads to the steps as you climb. You actually learn more from your failures than you do when you're successful, right? Because when you're successful, you just kind of keep doing it. But failure makes you sit back and analyze and quantify, and it allows you to take a look and research and figure out what you can do better. And every time you fail, you should learn enough to not do that thing again, but also find better tools or strategies or ways to accomplish what it is that you want to do. Failure is success.
Evil is good.
So failure is important.
Sounds like a natural balance to this path, Like if everybody say yes, mm-hmm. Then you end up maybe becoming arrogant, maybe becoming, you start smelling yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't have any room to improve. Because I think when you fail, you get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even when you get hurt, and somebody hurts you, you get stronger. You cry about it, mm-hmm. you get that out, and then tomorrow comes and you feel stronger. Is that like the same feeling?
It's like when you for those who go to the gym or work out or lift weights, what you're actually doing is you're tearing that muscle. You're destroying or injuring that muscle. It heals, it's stronger. So when you go back, you can actually lift more than what you did the day before when you went in. Mm-hmm. I think that it's the same thing with success, because you tear that mental muscle. It's a stress on you, like, oh man, it's mental anguish, right? It's emotional anguish, right? Oh man, this is terrible. I'm embarrassed. I feel like I wasted my time. It's spiritual strain. Oh, this guy wasn't with me. I don't understand. It's physical because, it's a lot of work, but whatever you're doing, if it's a service, it's a product, it's a lot of running around. You're spending time, you're spending money, you're spending gas. And you feel like, those things or your drive or your spirit has been broken because people aren't buying your stuff. They're not giving you enough attention. They're not doing whatever. And it takes a toll on me. So when that damages you,
right,
and you keep going, you actually get stronger, because now that rejection
and hit as hard.
They don't hit as hard. So it's like, oh, well, you buy my thing. No, get out of here. I don't care. You go on to the next.
Right.
So failure makes you stronger, in all those different dynamic ways.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's go in a different direction here. We're entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. We're in business, mm-hmm. and we've had failures. Yeah. I think a lot of even our network or people that know us closely or know us in business or friends in business or just business, they don't see those failures. Right? And we don't necessarily broadcast them either, but they exist, right? I'm asking you, with so many failures mm-hmm. that we've been through, and we can speak on some or so, but mm-hmm. how do you find the strength and the courage to continue?
Oh, that's an incredible question.
Like really, keep going.
So again, I use multiple things to keep going. And probably for me, first and foremost, I pray about it. So one of the tactics I use is I'll go to the park and we have a big walking trail, and I'll walk and I just talk about everything out loud. So people sitting, they might think I'm a little nuts, but
or you got headphones in.
Yeah, I got to get it out. So I talk to God almost like how we talking. So, I pray about it, and, I talk to God, and I'm like, what's going on? And, I kind of play that, why I made certain decisions. And then I play,
Where did those decisions
were,
right? Yeah.
were they the right ones? And, and I look for what went wrong. So I'm kind of taking inventory, like what went wrong? Why did it go wrong? Did I make the wrong decision? Should I have went left? And then sometimes I'm like, well, left really wasn't no better, right? So I just go over those things, and sometimes I cry about it. I've been doing this a long time. I have moments where I'm just overwhelmingly frustrated, and I don't understand why there's failure. I don't get it, but I get it out of my system. I take a breath, and then I beat up. It's almost like you get into a fight or a car accident or whatever. You just got to be hurt for a while. And eventually the healing comes. And then I go through, what are my options? What are the solutions? So I write all my resources out, whether it's a relationship or money or whatever it is. And then I look at them, and then I try to figure out how to overcome whatever this failure was. Or maybe I just try to understand why. Sometimes it's because you need to go into a different direction, because this isn't going to work. You're supposed to go over here. So I just really go deep to really try to figure out the problem and heal from it as quick as I can, and then try to create a new plan. It's not an easy thing. Sometimes I'll reach out to other business associates, and say, yo, how do you deal with this? And
that's a good question, because you and I are both in the same game. So talking about what has happened, what hasn't happened, where we are, what's working, what's not working, can be a little bit more easier, because I understand, because I'm in the game too. Versus if you have a partner or you have friends that aren't entrepreneurs or aren't in this game, I've heard that it's tough to talk to someone that is not in this space, or trying to vent to them about, like, I got friends, I can't call them and tell them necessarily what I'm going through, because they just won't get it. It's a different ear. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I always go to other entrepreneurs. It is different. It's a different breed. It's a different mindset. They live the way I live, so they know what it's like when it's not a check.
Hey everybody, click the link below, get a free ebook. What's it called?
How to Start a Business.
And what else?
How to start a business.
What every school should be teaching.
We out here trying to help the people. Free ebook.
Free ebook.
Like, subscribe, tell a friend, share.
You got it.
So we say that to say, if you take a route of needing to vent to someone, may not be a good idea to, call the friend that has no idea what this space really feels like, because, getting a check on Friday is a different mindset than there's no check if you don't make it. I think another segue I would like to dig into is the regret of the past. I know it's really quick or easy to go, oh, I regret I did that. Or I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. And we have numerous conversations about God's plan or what the plan is. Can you explain what that is when we discuss shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or what have you?
I realize that I'm blessed, right? I realize that I'm lucky and fortunate and all these other things. So I start off trying to remember the good, the positives, right? And it creates this snowball effect, when you really start to look like, well, dude, you remember when he was homeless and he was living in the car? And it's like, yeah. You remember when you had like no money and it was hungry? Yeah. You remember what it was like when there was one particular story where from the outside it looked like I was doing pretty good, but struggling. And it was one particular day, 83 cents, whatever it was, to buy a donut for one of my sons who, we had a ritual. We would go to Dunkin' Donuts and we would get, his favorite thing was a strawberry frosted donut. And it was one day where it was like car fare to open up a store on South Street or a donut and not open the store up that day. I had to get car fare. And the look on my son's face, he was a little kid, he didn't know, but it was so devastating to me. Like, I didn't even have enough to get a donut. And, that was heartbreaking, but it was also life-changing for me. And I vowed at that moment, that's the last time I'll be broke. I will always be able to.
So those misfortunes actually paved the way to your success.
It was that failure that created a new muscle in me that, that was it. Sometimes I have a session where I yell at me. So I yell at me, whether if I get to complaining too much, because I know where I come from.
Right.
So I'll have a session where I'm like, yeah, remember when you could do this? Look what you did. Look what you got. Look, beautiful. So, and then it's like, yeah. So I actually go through this thing where I'm pumping me up. So I'm like, yeah, look around. People call you for that. Look who you working with. Look what you're doing. And then I begin to get out of that feeling. So I don't really rely on somebody to inspire me. I have enough content to kind of snap myself out of it. And that's what I do. So I use whatever it is at my disposal to try to get myself out of a dark moment.
Right. Would you say that is essential to this game? Because if your mind isn't right, even in your failures, and you begin to repeat or stay in that dark space, how bad is that to continue?
Right. It could be suicidal, right? Like everybody's different, right? But one thing that in talking with other entrepreneurs is that we all got this negative voices in our head. You're not good enough, or just this fear that we all deal with. And it was actually a relief to hear other entrepreneurs say. So it was like, I'm not crazy. Okay. I'm not like is there something wrong with me? So I began to realize that everybody deals with this, and we all have our own ways that work for us. Some people will meditate. Some people, wherever their faith is. Some people, have therapists. Everyone deals with it in a way that kind of works for them. And some people, it's a guy I follow, he takes those cold plunges.
Okay.
Like that refreshes him. And so everybody has to find
whatever. You sound like this shock. You got to
snap yourself
out of it.
Snap yourself out of it and start to create a new kind of energy wave.
Right.
And everything doesn't always work the same.
Right.
So that's why I have multiple things.
Right.
Sometimes this frequency is not working. So maybe I had to watch like a T.D. Jakes sermon or something.
Hey, T.D.
Or a video, but I have to, or maybe it's just like a collage of inspirational morning, listen to this every morning.
Right. Maybe just being by yourself and being quiet.
Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's prayer. Sometimes it's yelling at myself. Sometimes it's all of them. And so I finally snap out of it.
Right.
I think everyone has to find what works for them to get out of it.
So ultimately, sounds like failure is good.
That don't sound like
you must fail in order to be good.
The reality
the best.
is you will fail, and that's
you
really
have to fail.
And it's really just about accepting it, figuring out how you learn from it, and move.
Gotta fail to be great.
Just move out, and sometimes I'm robotic. Right? So sometimes I feel like crap, but when I go to the gym, it's a stress reliever, right? Sometimes I do not feel like that. I'm so stressed over something that I really can't get my mind into it. But I'll force myself down there, put on my headphones, put on something, force myself through it, and I end up coming out better on the other side.
That's that darkness that I think is scary, that when you're in that hole, you have to know that tomorrow is the light. There's going to be some light. I don't know who said this, but it's never all dark and it's never all light. Even when we are rolling and the successes is happening, the money's coming through, we know
the storm
is coming.
Yeah, Tom Hanks did a video, and it was a round table, and he said just a piece of a Bible verse, and he said, in it says, "This too shall pass," and it was like, when things are going terrible, this too shall pass. Yeah. So even when you're rolling and you got the bag and everything is wonderful, this too will pass. So there's seasons, there's storms, and even just recently going through a tough time, right?
Yeah.
And everything going wrong. Like things that was everything was going wrong. Not even appearing to but the most simplest things were just going wrong. To the point, I think I screamed up. I said, you know what? I'm about to kill
everybody.
And I think recently,
he didn't mean that.
But recently, I realized that, because I'm big on energy, and I know that everything is energy. And I realized that storms, weather storms
Yeah.
are energy, right?
Yeah.
And when they come, you kind of know, oh shoot, I could tell by certain things, the sky, the temperature,
dark.
you kind of know that the storm is coming, right? But every storm that's ever come had passed.
Yep.
No matter how big it was, no matter
How much it destroyed.
it passed, right? And then I realized that everything is rooted in nature, right? So I realized that when we get into this snowball effect, and sometimes we're like, how is this happening? It's not me. And it just seems it's a storm. And it isn't that it's directed at you, it's mad at you personally. It's just a storm of life. A lot of times, here's with me, I kind of know when it's coming in advance. So I start like, I kind of know what's going on. Time to batten the hatches, time to put these credit cards away. I can kind of see where this is going because I can see when money's coming and when that. I already know, okay, it's about to be a storm. So I need to hustle this up. No matter what, once that storm is on you, and you just getting wet and thrown and tossed around until it's over. And then, you'll see the devastation afterwards. And you clean up your mess and you start to heal. And then, you see peaks of sun. And then you start to figure out how to move forward.
And here's the thing.
Mulch.
Everybody goes through on every level. Everybody that you talk to, everybody that you idolize, everybody that you want to be like, everybody that want to be like you, everybody, your coworker next. So that's why you never know what someone's going through, rather it's entrepreneurship and business or life in and of itself, working every day. You have to weather your storm, right? You got to weather your own storm and be mindful that others have the same storms or storms that they're going through. So you don't have to pretend, just do you, be organic.
Keep it moving and
failure is good. That's what I got. I'm not sure what you got. I got failure is good. Don't like to see those all the time, but I understand. Okay, well, you answered the question. And if you guys have any comments or questions or concerns about this topic,
you're a little dog down and Muffin us.
Muffin has a concern. Please leave it in the comments. Please like and share and subscribe to our channel because I believe we need to hear this. Everybody needs to hear this. Now you know.
And remember, the number one investment should always be you.
See you next time, Mr. Pips.
See you later, Miss Pitt.
If you like this video on how I failed my way to $1 million, then check out the next video. Better to be a thief than sheep.